Got it button to say you're good. Welcome, everybody. Fantastic to see you here at the LinkedIn implementation sprint that we're doing within LinkedIn for Breakfast. This is Wednesday, so some people will be coming to this call thinking, oh, this is the normal Wednesday session, which we do one session every week on a Wednesday. Please do not worry. This may be day 3 of the implementation sprint, but you could easily come into this as your first session and it will stack up in terms of knowledge. John Denley, hadn't seen you for a little while, sir. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Tony, as well. Fantastic to see a number of you guys in the community, into the group here. I just want to say, so just to kind of fill anybody in on the gaps if they're coming in for the first day. Day 1, we talked about the no post. We're doing a no, like, and trust for the first 3 days, and then an action on the 4th day of the implementation sprint. So call to action, right? So day 1 was about no. So we asked people just to share any sort of thought leadership via a live stream on LinkedIn. Most of us are using StreamYard because it costs my favorite number, which is free, and it's pretty easy to be able to just set up and use. If you missed any of that and you don't know how to do it, there is a training within LinkedIn for Breakfast, the community, totally for free for you to be able to join this community and jump in. Sorry, let me just get rid of that. So if you go into LinkedIn for Breakfast here and you go into the classroom, we've got a plethora of different trainings here for you. Just scroll down. Oh, here you go. And you've got this go live every day for 4 days. So the first one of this, day 1 of the challenge here, this will tell you actually how to set up and get the StreamYard going. And then you got the recaps of the different days. This is kind of a recording of when we've run this before, so you can actually go back to it. The reason why we go back and do the same challenge a couple of times a year is because it's great doing it live, isn't it? Because you've got me kind of holding your feet to the fire a little bit, so to make you go, as Sue witnessed there just before we hit recording. We were talking about, just taking the plunge. Even if it's 4 days, there's 4 different lives to do, but if you just do even one live over the next 4 days and it's the first time you've gone live, then you never have to worry about going live again. You will be able to continue to kind of follow that momentum, maybe bake it into your weekly rhythm that you go live. You're not subscribing to a new software that you're going to feel guilty that you're paying money and you're not using, because StreamYard is free. You're not having to feel guilty about any of this. You can just have it in your armory and go, right, I'm going to go live every Friday. I'm going to talk about how my week's been, or I'm going to go live every Monday. I'm going to give some motivation to the audience, or I'm going to do a piece of thought leadership every Wednesday, and that's going to be how I'm going to work. So that's what the power of this is. And we love lives because videos work really well. They sit on your profile. You'll get people liking and commenting, and videos and lives do a push to your audience. There's a little notification that goes to your followers to say Sue is now live. And so that's also gives you an initial reach. So well worth thinking about. Good. Okay, so let's go to the slides for today. So as we say, so today is the trust. So we did know, which we shared a bit of thought leadership on Monday, like yesterday, where we talked about your story, your origin story. Today's about trust, where we're going to talk about the story of one of your clients or success stories. And then, as I say, tomorrow's about a call to action to be able to say, hey, buy my stuff, right? So how did we get on yesterday, guys? So I love for a couple of people just to kind of share how they did yesterday. Who wants to share how their life went? Okay, so we'll go Dawn, and then we'll look for another, and Lyndon. Good stuff. Okay, Dawn, over to you.
Oh, I had a massive meltdown. Like how I showed up and did that yesterday, I have no idea. Like menopause came and bit me on the ass proper. Like I'm in the middle of doing like funding plans, etc. I did it. I showed up. Um, but I really wasn't feeling it, and but I did it, and so yeah,
It
that
was
was.
good. It was good. I watched it. It was good.
Yeah, but I'm finding that I'm actually having okay, they're gonna kick me out in 4 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now.
Who's kicking you out?
I've just had a message.
Oh, oh no, the hand's going to put down. Here you go. Let's. I had
Oh.
I had you up. If you start talking your hands up, it will then send you a message saying your hand's putting you down. So here's the
Okay.
lovely livers from yesterday. Is this you here? Here we go.
Yeah,
I
see,
told my
lovely,
dog I was going to
lovely
write a book.
thumbnail, lovely thumbnail.
Sorry,
Yeah,
we'll move it
great.
on for you.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a bit of a shocker yesterday. I had been probably crying my eyes out about 5 minutes before that went live. But it was, yeah, yesterday was a tough day. But again, I showed up. It was a bit disheartening that like because you can see I didn't have the thing across the bottom like I did the day before, and like the description and everything I didn't feel was as effective as the previous day. But yeah, I did it, and that's what we do, right? We show up.
Exactly, exactly. So this is great. Like the whole point of it is you're creating a live, you're creating a moment, you're putting it out into the world, and you're getting views, you're getting people, and it sits there on your profile, and it will continue to get views over the course of the next week or so, as well. So just remember that these things sit there as an asset on your profile. Excellent work, Dawn. Love it. Well done. Really, really loved what listening to that as well about you making your chili and then telling people to telling your husband to look after the kids. You got to write a book. Really like that. Good. Okay. Lyndon, fantastic. So here you go. We got a little bit of sort of thought leadership in your origin story as well as your origin story, didn't we? How do you find it?
Yeah, I was surprised myself really because I kind of got a script together and then I ignored it. I ignored the script and just ad-libbed really. But it was really useful to have the structure. That was great to have those 4 points like the beer guys, to keep me on target. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. But I was thinking about Sue and not being worried about being perfect. No, you can't be perfect, and you never can. And so I just love that because it points out and
Mm,
up that we are so human, and that's what I love about human beings, that we're not perfect.
yeah.
So yeah, I hesitated a bit here and there, and you know pulled my ear or whatever, but that's okay because I think that's me. I'm
Yeah.
being, yeah, that's what I felt. I feel I can be me on camera, which
Exactly.
because I've done it for years with teaching, Zoom classes and so on. So I just am me, and
Mm.
you'll get used to it. Yeah, you'll get used to it. I love
Great
it.
advice. I love that, Linda. And actually, Tony Eastwood, is saying in the chat there, perfect is the enemy of progress. And I couldn't believe, like, I certainly, back that up. It's all about momentum, isn't it? It's all about getting your message out, taking the leap, and then just let that snowball roll. Doesn't matter how small it starts, it will gather momentum and go as long as you keep on going, as long as you keep on giving it track to roll down. Right. Cool. So today we're going to be talking and giving you another task to be able to work through. And this is the trust post, right? So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about your customer story or your customer story. Okay. And so we need you to be able to put a piece of credibility out into the world to be able to really help you to define your story. So, first of all, when we think about this, we need to go and find the story you want to tell first. So that's really important. Now, I want to give you the pressure off in terms of the type of story you need to tell, because here's the thing: you might be selling something that you haven't sold before. For example, you might have launched a new product or a new business. You may not have a specific customer. That doesn't mean you can't tell a story, because you obviously would have thought about someone or maybe helped someone for free or maybe helped yourself to be able to achieve something that you now want to package up and coach people on, or provide a service for people to be able to help them to do something. So think about that. Think about where we can do it. You might have come out of corporate and now setting up a business, and you might have received great recommendations from people in your previous career. And so those are the sort of stories you can tell. You just need to spin it in a way that relates to what you do now. Or best case scenario, you've got a great review from someone where they bought what you're selling now, and you can tell that story as well, which would be great. Okay, so what we want to do is try and gather up some of this information first. So you may have some LinkedIn recommendations where people have said some nice things about you. You may have had some emails from clients where they said nice things to you. Maybe a Google review or a Facebook review, or just simply go direct to them and even invite them on to one of your live streams if you're really brave, right? So what do I mean by this when we're gathering this up? Well, look, on LinkedIn's brilliant. Okay, so you can go onto LinkedIn, you go onto your profile on LinkedIn. Let me just move you guys out of the way. And if you've been hopefully, starting to gather reviews on your profile, and some of this will be about actually a little bit of good drills in terms of what you should be doing on your LinkedIn profile, which is asking for recommendations. So if you're not doing this, this is also a bit of an insight for you. Because if you go down to your profile on LinkedIn here, you can see you've got this recommendations section here. And if you go and press plus, I can go and ask for recommendation. And then I can go and find some people. So I can go find, for example, John, let's say John Geedwell. There you go. Perfect. And I can go find him like this. I can press continue. And I can just say, hey, we were in the same group together. So potentially you don't even need to have worked with them. Maybe they're in the same group. Maybe you were on a course together. Whatever it is, you can do that. And then you can select which role that you're in at the time. And I can say, hi, John, would you write me a recommendation? And then I can say about the 4-day challenge, please. Bam, send. It's that simple to go and request recommendations. So if you have none, just go and think about all the people that you've worked with. You don't have to work with them or be in the same group, and get some of those recommendations out. Because you can see here, I've got 47 recommendations. So what does that do? It communicates to LinkedIn that I am a recommended person, which then helps my credibility, helps me in terms of when I'm actually getting recommendations back. Now, that can work really well. And then the next piece is I can then look through these recommendations. And if I find one that I really like, I can then go print screen like this, and I can then go and crop this recommendation out like this. And so now I've screenshotted it. And if I then go on to, I don't know, a piece of text like this, bam, I've now got this as a nice bit of text. I could even kind of, if I go new slide, stick it on like this. Oh, hello. I can then print screen it, and then I could actually have that as a slide. And then I could use that as one of the slides that sits next to me in the StreamYard studio. So when I can present, it looks a little bit like this, where I've got my face like this, and I've got the actual presentation to the right with that screenshot on. And that's simply me just screenshotting something that's nice that Christian Harris said, and used it as a slide that sits next to me on StreamYard. So this is a good example of this in action, by the way, guys. So I'm going to stick this into the chat. Flora, if we can make sure we circulate this as part of the notes. And that's a link to a stream that I did on LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn, which was a review. So basically an example of exactly what we're trying to achieve today. So if I just press post, it's a simple StreamYard live. I did it about a year ago, but it's a good example. And here's the screenshot of a slide exactly like that. And I just talk through the story of how I help Christian get, sales appointments within 2 hours of starting on our program, right? And so that's a nice story to tell. So if you've got nice things like that, you can do it. Another good example, and then what do you do with that? So if you create a nice slide that looks good like this, then we don't have to just go live. But if I show you our website, we've got a page on our website that is also a reviews page. So I'm going to then take this slide that I've created that I'm going to talk about in my live, and we paste it into a long list of reviews on our website. So when someone thinks about, well, actually, does LinkedIn $1 Million Sprint work? well, here's a bucket load of people that are winning, making sales from $1 million sprint, and literally I'm going to wear my finger out the amount of scrolling down I'm doing, right? And you can get videos and stuff in here. And so that's just one, we talk about on this challenge. We're not just asking you to do lives, we're also showing you how to then do other things with the stuff that we're talking about. So that's one way to do it. And then another way, if you can see some of these YouTube videos I've got on here, you can see I'm interviewing someone side by side as a video testimonial. So if you wanted to get really fancy, you could actually invite someone onto your StreamYard and to do it live with them. So if I just go on to StreamYard, so this is the software that we use. And if you go into a live stream and we just go into a studio here, so this is all kind of how we've shown before. If you've missed how to set this up, go to day one. You enter the studio in a second. Come on. Okay, good stuff. Lovely. Enter studio. And so I can go and use this invite feature. You can see at the bottom here, I can go and invite. I get a link that looks like this, and I can invite someone. So if I want to do this as a live stream with someone actually live, I can invite them into the studio setting so we can actually sit side by side and I can interview them on the live stream about how they got on with us. So that would be sort of the advanced way of doing it. The easier way of doing it would be to use this present feature and then use a slide and actually add the slide as a slide like this. So you can see here, this is a full screen slide, and then I can put myself next to it. So I add myself to the stage, and then bam, I've now got me talking about those two slides, and I can make myself a bit smaller if I want to make that bigger. And so as I do this presentation, those screenshots can sit there and I'm presenting. I can say, we had this success story with Christian. He's really happy. Here's some people celebrating his results. Boom, 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 right? So I just want to show you that it's not massively tricky to create that. Take a screenshot, stick it on a PowerPoint slide, save the PowerPoint, upload it to StreamYard, and then add both of these things to the stage, and then press the go live button, and then we can go live talking about a case study, right? So that's what we want you to be able to achieve. Just a couple of other places to look, and then I will take Richard's question. So think about the, exactly, it works exactly the same way LinkedIn as it would do in Google and Facebook to be able to take a screenshot, and then those emails, you can take a screenshot as well. Clearly, make sure you cover it off with the client to say, hey, I'd love to be able to share that. It's a great review if they've emailed you. But if they publicly posted it on Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn, then I would say that that's pretty okay just to use and do a stream on that because they've already put it in the public domain. So that's what I'd say. Richard, you got a quick question?
Yeah, well, I'd just like to say where I am in my little journey. I had a fantastic meeting with G last Thursday, I think it was, for a profile review of my LinkedIn. And yesterday I bit the bullet and I thought I'd take a 1 month trial of Business Premium on LinkedIn. And of course, that gives me 10 2-month trials to give away to people. And so I've been trying to give them away for the last 12 hours. I'm just saying, I put in the chat that I explain that in the chat. And so if anyone wants to contact me in the chat, I will save the chat at the end of this this session, and so I'll follow up afterwards. But that's where I am. You've just got to remember that if you accept a 2-month free
Cool.
business upgrade on LinkedIn, you probably won't be able to use it again. And if you're not ready to go, it may not be.
Richard, just because this is a little bit off subject,
yeah,
because we're talking about LinkedIn Lives, let's say thank you so much for sharing those, and also feel free to share those in the group. Yeah, having a free.
Okay, well, and this morning I signed up for StreamYard. And of course, I was presented with this pay a dollar. So I thought I better pay $1. and of course they want to charge me in a week's time, I think, and I had to choose a channel. So
Richard, just because I need to, you're
uh,
kind of mid-flowing me here.
okay.
So why don't we keep this for the question piece at the end, okay?
Sorry
And
about that.
that's all right, no worries at all. But thanks, I thought you had a specific question about what I was discussing there. Happy to loop back to you after after I just give everybody the
Yeah.
task for today, okay?
Well, I did get
So
a mention. I think I did get a mention. Was it on Monday, I think?
that's okay, Richard. No worries. Thank you. Good stuff. Right. So, what we want to do, guys. So, just thinking about this and working through what we're creating. So, remember, we can get these reviews, find these reviews, get the screenshot of the reviews, and that allows us to then use this as an asset to be able to discuss and do the testimonial. So, how are we going to tell this story? So, here is the 4 elements that we want to help you to use to tell this story, right? So when you're doing this, let me just stick this in the chat because it would be good to sort of copy and paste it if you want to. Let me just get this. Here we go. Perfect. And putting it into the chat so you can copy and paste this into a document. And so when you think about this, just have these 4 things written down. So first of all, you can say, what was their world like before working with you? So if I was to do that, I'd be saying, Christian Harris was running a successful business, but he had never employed anybody to set appointments for him. He was having to do everything manually. He was having to do it himself. He was losing, going into the pain points, which is step 2. He was losing opportunities because it was taking too long to go back to them. He was finding out that good leads had gone to competitors, and he was feeling very overwhelmed, even though he was feeling success because he was seeing it getting some sales, but not enough because he knew that there was work being left on the table, right? So you're painting this picture of a busy person with opportunity, but needed people to be able to help. And so then what we suggested is that we put some of our telephone appointment setters into his business, who would then follow up all of those open leads, make the phone calls for him. We train them, we look after them, we manage them. And lo and behold, he started to get a load of appointments, some within the first day of working with us, right? So you can see how they were talking about the pain points that made him take action and start working with you. And then I went into what was it like working together? And you can say, it worked really well. We had regular meetings. We were able to tweak and refine his script. We were able to build processes into his business, and we were able to pack out his diary and follow up the leads after he's had sales calls with them, right? And so since number 4, since working with us, he's been able to go through the 1 million in revenue marker, which was the target, the reason why he started working with us. But he's also been able to work less himself and focus on the more important things, right? So you can sort of say, this is where they started, this is the solution, this is what we did to be able to help, and then bam, that's it. Whenever you're telling any story, it's a journey. You want to tell the journey. This is where they are. This is the pain. This is the trigger of them working for you. This is the special magic place that you got them to and where their future wanted to be when you've achieved that. And then the steps, the stepping stones that got there was the process, right? So that's how you want to portray this as a set of tasks. Good. So the tip that I would say is to write the above first. The reason why writing it works well is because you just kind of get all those ideas out onto paper. Then you can use ChatGPT if you want to, just to kind of tart it up a bit. Then repurpose it as a case study, maybe a newsletter, and maybe an article. So for example, if I show you our LinkedIn newsletters, whenever we've created something that's a nice case study, if I go on to my newsletter, so LinkedIn for Breakfast newsletter, some of our publications will be case studies. Here you go. It's a good example straight off the bat. So 3 days ago, we talked about how Keith got 100% return on investment within 2.5 weeks of our program, right? And so we talked about a little bit around what happened, and then bam, here's my video. And so I'm doing a video there. So obviously that went out as a piece of content. And then I've got that as an asset. And now I'm actually publishing it as a LinkedIn newsletter as well, right? So it's all just part of the marketing mix. Make sense? Great. So that's what the task is for you today. So the final piece to think about is the call to action at the end. So this is where we want a soft call to action. So tomorrow we're going to be very much salesy, but today is just a bit of a soft call to action. So if you say something like this, if you would like similar results to Keith, then why don't you send me a DM or comment below, or say I put my Calendly link in the first comment below. The problem is with first comment is actually LinkedIn doesn't stack those comments in order for everybody. It'll be different orders. So if you say first comment below, actually it might not be the first comment, but you can say, if you want the link to book into my diary, comment below and I will message you that link. That's probably a better way of doing it. Or you could just be saying, instead of going directly to your diary, if you want the same result as Keith, come along to my event on Wednesday where I'm going to be talking about X, Y, and Z. And so you can push them into an event maybe. Or you can be saying, hey, join my free community. If you've got a free community, you can push them into there. So whatever your kind of call to action is, make sure you add that at the end of the story. Okay, so that'd be number 5. So you got the 4 points for the case study, and then number 5 is the call to action. Great. And if you want to see it done, then here's the example of it being done. And again, I will put that link in the chat for you to have a little play with, right? There it is. Cool. Okay, so that's what we wanted to get done today and share with you. I'll just remove myself from a few of these things. That's the task. So get your case study live stream done. If you haven't done a stream yet, there's no problems of starting there. As we said yesterday, you could say something along the lines of, hi, everybody, my marketing team has asked me to be able to share a couple of stories. And so I'm going to do a live stream. This is one of my first ones. So please excuse any bugs that might happen. But I just wanted to tell you of a fun story about Christian Harris, who was able to achieve XYZ result in ABC time, and then bam, you can then share the slide, start the conversation, tell your 4 points, 5th point, call to action. Jobs are good. Cool. Makes sense? All right. All right. So I'm going to open the floor up then for some questions now. So over to you guys. Thoughts, questions? How are we getting on?
Well, I did notice that on one of the lives, I think it was Lyndon's, I think she had words across the stage, and one of the others, I think it was Dawn's, didn't. So how both of them had words under the stage, but one of them had words across the stage as well. So is that obvious on StreamYard how to do that?
Lyndon, what was your the ticker is the ticker that goes across. Lyndon, what was the thing that you were using to do the words across?
Use the ticker, yeah. So the banners on the right. So on the right of the StreamYard dashboard, you can see banners, I think it's called. And if you click on that, there's a drop down, and then you can type in what you want to show, to flash across the stream, and that's it really. And then you can hide it or show it. So you have to eye on the script. Richard will show you, I'm sure now.
Yeah.
It's a bit tricky because you've got to switch it off and switch it on when you need it, really. See on the right there.
Exactly.
Tickers.
So when you put one of these banners, you can press a button, say scroll across the bottom, or remove it, press save. And so if I show this now, it's going to come up as a larger banner that looks like that. And then I can also put a ticker underneath it. So Lyndon had a ticker underneath
Wow.
and a banner, or you
Yeah.
can remove the ticker and just have a banner.
Yeah.
And if I add
Okay.
myself to the stage, it will bring it, it will push it up a little bit more as well. So you then do a ticker, banner. You obviously can have your virtual background if you wanted to go and put a virtual background on. So I think Lyndon had her virtual background on as well. Good stuff. I think that's going to work now. And then that will then appear in a second. Here we go.
Wow.
And I'm in a very American looking room. So here you go. So you can play about with it, right? And work different things in, and then
Thank
obviously
you.
invite people to the stage and all that sort of stuff. So
It's great fun.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
play in the studio with all this stuff first. But again, Sue, do not let it deter you, because it's not actually needed.
No, no,
So
I'm not going to, but it's exciting. I'm not going to try that with my first one, but it's nice to know how to do it.
well,
And I will
you
play
could
around.
have one. You could have one as the just one ticker that you set up before in the studio that goes like this, and then just leave it. So you got it working already in the studio. You go right, everything's now fine. I'm going to press go live, and then it's all there for you beforehand. So then you don't need to worry about anything. You just present.
It's all very exciting.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Paul, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. First of all, I must say I'm really impressed with these sessions. It's given me more sort of energy and sort of confidence to sort of get back on the horse, if you know what I mean. So thank you so much for these sessions. My question for you is the videos that we're publishing, and I put my hand up. I'm in a bit of a flux at the moment, but I've been making my notes and putting my structures together for these sessions. Is the duration of the video? Because I'm very much in the sort of the training sector, and what they say is that the length of the video for people to basically still be entertained and not turn off in some respects. The generations are getting shorter and shorter their span of attention. What's your recommendation around the duration of the videos that we produce? Because we're telling those 4 key points, and I think what I'm learning and listening is obviously be very succinct about your messaging, be on point,
Yeah.
get it over, and get the hell out of there as quickly as possible before you lose your audience. But what would you say from a duration point of view? I mean, that's the critical thing. Get your message across in the way that you believe is your style. And we all got different styles on here, but I'd just love to get your sort of thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's around we say about 5 to 10 minutes for a live. You get a little bit more wiggle room with a live than you might do with a video, and then you got your short, like long like portrait mode stories, which is like a minute. So you got minutes, 3 minutes to 5 to 10 minutes with a live. So you do have because there is interaction, you can actually bring some of that in. So that's what I'd say. So real life examples, I guess, would be the live streams that I do. So or let's say the videos that I've got up on my here. So we got 6 minutes here for Angela. We had 7 minutes there for Natalie. Rob was 5 minutes there. Bavna, that's 10 minutes, but that's actually at a conference in there. So that's what I'd say. So I mean, I've got loads of other ones, but they're all in a similar length.
Okay, well, thanks for that. Yeah, no, and also it's just given me the confidence I'm going to be a joint host on a webinar later this month about blended learning. My former partner said, "Hey, Paul, I know you want to get back on that horse. Come and be a host on a live session." So this has given me that encouragement to get and do that again. So thank you.
Perfect. Well, that's what it's all about, and it's also kind of dispelling the myths because it's not as hard as many people think. Look, guys, I'll quickly take a question from John. Richard, when he was mentioning before, actually mentioned that we do these LinkedIn profile audits. And so if anybody is interested in actually having their LinkedIn profile audited in terms of the effectiveness of that profile, what happens there, what ideas and improvements that we can actually say on your actual LinkedIn profile, we do that as a free one-to-one session. So if you are interested in booking one of those, that's in the chat there now. And if I kind of show you this, I know a number of you guys would have jumped on one of these before. So if you are looking to be able to grow on LinkedIn, We look at your headline effectiveness, we look at your profile photo and your banner, we look at how you maximize these recommendations. Then most important, we look at how you're doing this for lead generation and how you tailor your experience. So we only have a few of these sessions that we open up. I think there's definitely a few available because we've been doing this challenge here. So here you go. So there's a few available that you could jump on, even some this afternoon if you wanted to really perfect your LinkedIn profile this week. So that's in the chat there. So do jump onto one of those and we can see about helping you. Lovely jubbly. Thank you. Over to you. Oh, thank you. There's a couple of people saying highly recommend the audit. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Diane. Thank you, Lyndon. Really do appreciate your very kind recommendations there for the audit. John, over to you, mate.
2 points very quickly. The first one I did, I clicked on the banner, whatever, the header, and it was a big sort of duck right across the top of the screen. Don't do that because it's just a StreamYard thing. If you watch the first one I did, and I didn't realize until afterwards, I thought I'm not going to do all that again. Secondly, you've got somebody watching you, Richard. There's somebody behind you.
Yeah, that's actually my mum's birthday present.
All right.
It's a bronze deer stag thing for a garden. Don't ask, but I just stick it there because I think it looks quite fun. And as of the weekend, it will go. So there you go. I'm not into hunting or anything like that. So please don't think that it's like stuffed animal on the wall. That's not me.
Did wonder.
It's quite festive though, isn't it? We'll go there. Maybe we should keep it just for Christmas and give it to her in January. That's cool. So yes, what John's talking about in terms of that banner piece, very Scottish. Okay, thank you, John. So the banner, yeah, look, you can see it a little bit better there. It's a bit random, isn't it? Is when you go into brand. So if you upgrade and you want to pay for this, you can put your own brand over the top overlay, or you could use StreamYard one, which is here. So you can have like a nice overlay that says live with StreamYard. Let me just turn off this ticker.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, so you can say StreamYard live show here, live with StreamYard. So you can add overlays and you can have your examples. Yeah, here you go. So we at one point we were paying for StreamYard and we were doing all the clever stuff here. So I have my banner in here, but I've got no problem with the StreamYard logo here. I actually have no problem. And because I quite like showing stuff to people, because I don't think you need to pay for it. You can stream nice and easy. There's so much you can do with it. And I only need to streamline to the LinkedIn. I just don't bother paying for it. Maybe it's something to do with my Glaswegian grandmother that's there. But if I don't think you need to use it, then most of you guys don't need to upgrade at all on it.
It was only because I had some text at the top and it completely obliterated the text.
Yes, exactly. So the overlay may well overlay on the stuff that was important. So yeah. Great shout, John. Okay, cool, guys. Well, look, if you're shooting off and getting your live done, that's absolutely no problem. Please do feel free to drop off and get going on this live. But I'm happy to stick around for another question or two if anybody's got one. Fantastic. Thank you for your kind comments on the challenge. I just quickly put the link in there for the audit again, if anybody wanted to jump on that. Thank you for the people who have already booked into that. Any final questions? Okay. Well, oh yeah, go on, Dawn. Was that a
what kind of images do you, I mean, I know you've got your thumbnails, and you've got all of those already set up, but obviously with us being here new to this, like I look at some of my thumbnails and I'm like, they're just like, they don't so today I'm going to be talking about trusting me and all the I don't mean to be rude, but all the Udemy $20 coaches that are out there, and how I'm known as the Official Secrets Act. What kind of image would you use for that?
what for your actual event?
Yeah. How do we select an appropriate image?
Yeah, I guess I mean there's obviously ones that we put together we have a designer to do it, or my VA does that. The if you were to try and do something along those lines, I'm just trying to think of, is there a good easy way of designing? Yeah, Canva. So I'd probably go onto Canva.
Yeah.
You shuddered there, Dawn. You physically shook, but I'm still gonna go there.
Okay.
So if you go into Canva and
Yeah.
you choose thumbnail, you will find some really good free templates on Canva.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can just drag and drop. So you'd simply go onto here, and I'm just going to load this up. Come on, to pop up. So you would simply go onto here and go, okay, I quite like the look of, I don't know, one of these things, right? So I can go and say, right, we'll go with this. And so I can go and say, and you could then find a picture of yourself, chuck it in. Let's just see how easy it will be to do. Some of them might be a bit difficult if you haven't got like a cropped image. You've got a clever image there. Ultimately, you can go click on this stuff and you can change the text.
Yeah.
This
No, I do
image,
use Canva. Yeah, so
yeah,
that's
so they've
just
got Smart
in.
Crop on here where you can actually try and find one of your own images, upload it, and see if it actually will work. I'm just trying to find. Where is it? I'm really bad. I don't do much of this. Here we go. So here we go. So we can kind of do
You
that.
look different.
Well, yeah, I know that's me with hair. I'm a bit young there, aren't I? Oh yeah, look. So if I do this, does it kind of go? I don't know.
You need to make the transparency a little bit better.
Anyway, yeah.
Firing your marketing manager does actually make you step up and learn a platform or five.
Yeah. What is
Can
I've
edit
got
out the
I've got
background
too
and then it'll make it
fancy
transparent.
in my old age. But the whole point, Canva has some great templates. And that
Okay.
one shows there probably put me on a back foot straight away because it was quite well edited in that background image. But there's loads that are just for full image with text. That's fun.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, keep it simple. It doesn't need to be too clever. Just need the message of what you're talking about. Ideally, a picture of you, and then jobs are good. John's saying, bring the text to the front. So there you go. That's what I should have done. Love it. Final questions, thoughts, opinions? All right, guys. Well, let's do this. Good luck with your lives. Again, remember, we're going to put a post in the group which says, here's the replay of this session, plus please share your live stream below. And so let's then see all of your wonderful live streams. Cool, guys. See you tomorrow for the final day of the 4-day challenge, or potentially in one of those LinkedIn profiles.